All right, fellas, I'm going to assume that I'm live now. Apologize for that. Had a couple technical difficulties because computers work the same every day, but we're here. Happy Sunday morning. I'm Chuck Silver here with Occupy Fantasy. We're going to get through a quick two gamer. Not much to talk about today. We have a few plays that really stand out on the slate, so we're going to focus on them. We have a few high risk guys that we can take a look at too. Let me just see. We just got some news out of Miami. Let's see. Yeah, so it looks like Devin A-Chain is dressed. We had Ollie Gordon as one of our top running back plays, so let's see if we get news about that in the next 40 minutes. And Tua is dressed as well. I don't think it really changes anything because even if they do play, it shouldn't be that much. And we don't have much in terms of top running back plays today, so we're still going to be looking at Ollie Gordon, I think, as our top guy. And then as far as Tua, I mean, the Miami quarterbacks that we were kind of interested in Zach Wilson and Quinn Ewers, assuming that they're both going to play a half today. I don't think that they would have been bad plays, but now it's just a little bit tougher if Tua plays a few snaps. Because as of right now, I mean, the very clear top quarterback play is Trey Lance for the Chargers. We did get word that Taylor Heineke is going to start. He's going to play 1 to 2 series, probably two. And then Trey Lance is going to come in, and we're going to have DJ clean up the game again. But I don't know. Trey Lance is our top quarterback play by quite a bit. We're looking at Tyson Bagent over on Chicago. Yeah, and then we're still going to consider Zach Wilson and Quinn Ewers, but the majority of my quarterback ownership is just going to go to Trey Lance tonight. A couple of the guys that we like to pair him with. So we have Dalvin Campbell, Lambert Smith. We got Trey Harris. We got Jalen Johnson. And we have Ja'Kay Jackson. So our top three guys here to pair with Trey Lance are Lambert Smith, Trey Harris, and Campbell. We're perfectly happy to triple stack. What I'm going to do, well, my top lineup right now has these two receivers, and it has Gadsden at the tight end position. Tight end is tough once again. Another option is Colston Loveland, but we need confirmation that he's going to play. And even if he does play, he might only play a few snaps. So Gadsden's going to be our top play at the tight end position today. And then as far as the running backs for the Chargers go, we're not sure if Amarion Hampton is playing yet. That's obviously going to affect things. If we get word that Hampton is not going to play any snaps today, we can also take a look at, and this is the later game, so we're not going to know before lock. But Raheem Sanders missed the Hall of Fame game. He should be back today. And then Jarrett Patterson left practice, so they're still going to be down one of these running backs. Najee Harris is going to be out. In the Hall of Fame game, no one played more than 27% of snaps. And last year in preseason week 1, they were kind of shorthanded. So we don't really have any trends to go on. We're just going to have to hope we get a coaching word before the game. I mean, like I mentioned, Ollie Gordon's our top running back play. We kind of think Jalen Wright is going to play a few snaps, but he's in high risk too, Jalen Wright. But Ollie Gordon's the guy that we're going to be going for here. It's fine to double stack them, Jalen Wright and Ollie Gordon. They only have these running backs on the roster. Even if A-Chain suits up and plays a few snaps, I don't think it's that big of a deal. Let me just check this. Tyreek and Jalen Waddle are not dressed, so at least that's something there. Madison's fumbled a couple times in practice, so he is in play for high risk, I guess, but he's definitely the pivot off of these other two guys. Remember, Madison's a little bit older, but Ollie Gordon's going to be the top play from Miami here. Take a look at Chicago running backs real quick. Let me see what we have. So DeAndre Swift not expected to play, and then historically they're playing 5 running backs. Not really expecting anyone to get more than 33% of the snaps. Roshan Johnson missed practice on Friday, so he's probably out. Kyle Monagai is the guy that's been getting buzz. He's the guy that we're interested in today from Chicago, the running back position anyway. And then Deion Hankins missed camp with a concussion, but supposedly he should be good to play. But the guy that we're really only looking at here is Kyle Monangai. I don't know how to pronounce that. Let's see. And then for New Orleans is kind of tough at running back too. So Kamara's not going to play. Devin Neal was working on the side. We're not expecting him to play either. And so that leaves Kendre Miller right over here, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and Cam Akers to pretty much, I don't know, handle all of the work. They also have this guy, Marcus Yams, and Velus Jones. So they have bodies available. Kendre Miller is the guy that I'm going with here. He's kind of higher risk, though, just because we don't have confidence that he's going to play the bulk of the snaps. They have a lot of guys. So maybe put Monangai in our dummy up here, and then we can kind of swap out the flex. Ollie Gordon or Jalen Wright and GPPs on DK. We have Ollie Gordon as our top play. I imagine he's going to come in higher owned, and he's the guy that we do prefer. But if you're making more than a few lineups, I would want to mix in Jalen Wright into a few, but I think Ollie Gordon's the guy that we want in the majority of our lineups today. I mean, him and Trey Lance are, the only two guys that we had confidence in enough to list as our top overall plays. So I think we just want to get to those guys, and we can try and mix it up elsewhere. Let's talk about some receivers. So we talked about the Chargers receivers. Like I said, I'm perfectly happy triple stacking Trey Lance. It's just we only have 2 games on the slate. There's 4 teams playing. We know that I shouldn't say we know. We have confidence that the Chargers are going to play their guys a lot. They really have 6 receivers today. So, yeah, playing 2 of them with Gadsden seems pretty fine to me. Miami, there's a couple of guys we're looking at. Let me see. So I mentioned this about the Niners and Russell Gage yesterday. Russell Gage let us down. But Miami plays a veteran wide receiver. This year it happens to be one of my favorite guys, Nick Westbrook-Akine. He only needs one play to rip off a whatever touchdown. And so he's a guy that we're going to consider in high risk. And the other guys that we're going to mix in, D. Eskridge. Let's make sure he's playing. He got carted off the field last week, so let's hold off on D. Eskridge if we don't get word he's in the starting lineup. Eric Ezukanma and Taj Washington is the other guy that we're taking risks on. This guy's not on FanDuel, annoyingly enough, but he is over on DraftKings. He was a rookie last year that missed the season with an injury, but he was pretty good at his final season at USC. Was that 18 yards per catch? It's absurd. And so since he missed his rookie year, we think that he has a high chance to fall into that high snap count role. So Taj Washington is going to be the wide receiver that we like the most from the Dolphins. And I already mentioned Nick Westbrook-Akine. I think he has that, long touchdown upside. Malik Washington's been filling in for Tyreek Hill in practice. We can consider him too. And then Tariq Black has gotten snaps with the first team offense. And I'll also mention Theo Weiss. He's been a standout in practice. He's an undrafted free agent, but we can consider him for high risk as well. There's a couple guys on the Bears that I wanted to mention. Luther Burden is the top one. He's been struggling in practice apparently, so maybe he could get some extra snaps, get some more live reps. But the guy that we're interested for high risk here is actually JP Richardson. He's been he's been making some noise in practice. We're already going to be without DJ Moore, O'Dunes, Zacchaeus, Miles Boykin. Those guys are not expected to play. And so outside of JP Richardson and Luther Burden, some other high-risk options are Devin Duvernay, Tyler Scott, Samori Torrey, and Maurice Alexander. But I think Richardson and Burden are going to be the 2 guys we want to focus on here. I'm wondering if Burden's going to come in higher owned just because he has a name value, and most people probably didn't know who JP Richardson was until right now. But if you're making more than a handful of lineups, I like mixing both of them in there, especially if you're going to have Badgett at quarterback. We're expecting Badgett to play with Duvernay, Scott, Richardson, Burden. So if you can get to JP Richardson with Badgett, that seems like a pretty good stack partner. Remember, guys, I'll be here for about 5-10 more minutes, so if you have any questions, feel free to throw them in the chat. Moving on to New Orleans wide receiver room, there's 2 guys here that kind of stand out to us. Bub Means and Mason Tipton are the 2 guys that we're looking at here. Chris Olave is not likely to play. We're going to want word since that's the later game, but he hasn't practiced, so we're expecting him out. Brandon Cooks likely isn't playing. He's kind of old. And then Rashid Shaheed, coming off that bad injury he had last year, we'll have to see if he is out there. If he is, I wouldn't expect more than a few snaps. But Bub Means, Mason Tipton, and Dante Pettis are the guys that we're looking at on New Orleans. The problem is, like, they're going to be playing whoever's starting at quarterback for them this year, and none of these guys are good, as far as we know anyway. Uh, they're probably going to play about a third of the game. It's hard to know who's going to get the majority of the playing time, so it's really tough to get to one of these quarterbacks. But if you are playing the showdown, I mean, I guess you can take a shot on one of them. I don't know that we necessarily have anyone ranked above the other. Apparently, they've all been splitting reps pretty evenly throughout practice, so it doesn't seem like anyone has the advantage, or uh, doesn't appear to have an advantage to us anyway. And then we talked about the Chargers wide receiver room. These are the best plays on, like, the best wide receiver plays, I think, just because I said they only have 6 bodies. They have to be on the field. So Campbell, Lambert, Smith are going to be the top two. Trey Harris was a first round pick. I just worry if maybe he sees reduced snaps because maybe they see a role for him this year. And then the other guys that I mentioned at the bottom of the roster, Grimm is back in practice after missing the Hall of Fame game. And then Brendan Rice is actually also going to be back from injury today. So we're not sure about his playing time, but he could see some work in the second half maybe. Tight end, I'm only playing, I think I only got to 2 tight ends today. Gadsden's the easy one. I mean, he's a rookie. He could be their starting tight end this year. I mean, Will Dissly's not terrible, but Gadsden could do it. And then we're also looking at this guy, I keep wanting to call him Martin, Michael Jacobson over on the Saints. Yeah, didn't get exposure to any other tight ends. Maybe if we got word about Loveland, doesn't look like it though. We only have a half hour until that game starts. Let me see if we got any news from the staff here. Oh, Colston Loveland will play. Nice, we did get that news. So we can consider Loveland as well. I'd call him high risk because we have no confidence that he's going to play, more than a couple of series. Maybe he plays the whole first half with Badgen. I mean, that would be a pretty good stacking partner too. So, I mean, me personally, I have 40 lineups today. I'll probably mix in Colston Loveland into, I don't know, a handful at least. Chalky slate. Yeah, it is going to be a bit of a chalky slate. And so, play our top plays and then mix in some of the guys we talked about. You'd be surprised how low owned some of these guys come in that seemingly everyone is talking about, but everyone's going to focus on the top plays. I mean, even if you pivot to one of these other Charger guys, just get lucky and catch the touchdown. I mean, that's all the difference right there. Those 6 fantasy points are going to win you the contest. Let's round this out with some defense. I don't know. We're only recommending one defense for low risk today, and that's going to be, let me just double check. The Bears. They're going up against Miami. It's not a great spot for any defense today, but the Bears are the guys that we're going with. And then I want to throw the Chargers out there. They're going against the worst quarterback room in the NFL. So it should be really easy for them to force fantasy points out of them. So I'd say Chargers and Bears, I think, are the 2 defenses that I'm going with today. Like I said, you always kind of want to mix it in. I'm going to still have a couple shares of the Saints and of the Dolphins, but for the most part, I don't know. I want to keep kind of a tighter-ish player pool. I know it's a shorter slate, so you kind of want to take a few more risks, but I don't know. The field's been playing pretty poorly. I think we can just do what we want to do and turn out all right. Thoughts on Ezu Kanma, wide receiver? Yeah, let's see what notes we have on him. Well, I'll tell you, we expect him to be a better stack partner with Zach Wilson. That's when we expect him to be on the field. So if you're running a Miami quarterback with him, I would go with Zach Wilson. And then Azukama, yeah, it's just he got hit pretty hard in practice on Friday. So we would just like confirmation that he's in. I guess the game starts in 27 minutes, so someone knows, but he did end up walking it off. That was what, 2 days ago? Doesn't sound like it'd be enough to keep him out of the game, but again, I'd want confirmation that he's playing. He's going to come in pretty low owned, so if you do want to take that risk, then he could be a difference maker. All right, well, slate starts in about 26 minutes. We have the showdown. I think it's a pretty decent showdown. Again, just play the guys that we talked about, and you should be all right. We'll be in the Discord. Watch out for news. But other than that, guys, enjoy your Sunday. Appreciate you being with us for the first week of NFL. We'll have more best ball content coming out soon, and we'll see you guys next weekend.